make sure I'm live. I think we're good. Mic is in front of me this time. I got my mic, my camera, my water, my everything. I think we're good. Hi guys. Welcome to another impromptu evening live stream. Today we're going to be talking about brushes, but before we get into all that stuff, we are just going to wait for a couple people to pop on. I know when it's last minute, it's kind of hard for people to, it's more of a, you're here, because I don't really announce it beforehand, because that's life, well, at least my life with kids at the moment. I'm trying to figure out how to balance my mom life and work at the moment, and it's a little difficult because some days are good days, some days are tough days, and today ended up being a decent day where I could get on in the evening and not feel totally overwhelmed and exhausted. So I decided, let's go live. So if you're here and you're joining me, make sure to comment in the chat because I want to talk to you guys. I want to have a little conversation with people that don't yell at me or cry at me or demand snacks nonstop. And I'm not just talking about my husband. I'm kidding. He's amazing. I'm talking about my kids. But yeah, so if you're here, give me a shout. Say, hey, I'd like to know where you guys are from. Where are you joining me from? One thing I love about doing these lives is that people are from like all around the world. It's so cool. Hi to you in Las Vegas. There we go. I always find the beginning of these videos super awkward just because you're just waiting patiently for people to pop on and you're like just talking to yourself until then. So it's nice when people start, talking back and you're just not talking to yourself. Watching you while I pack for the first beach trip in 12 years with my 2 kiddos. Oh, it's fun. Oh, I can't wait to actually take trips with both kids and not be terrified to do so. I feel like we're not going to go anywhere for the first little bit while Miles is still little. Hi to you in Massachusetts, Atlanta, Vermont, North Carolina, Tennessee, Salt Lake City. I like snacks. Out west and north of Calgary. Los Angeles, Taiwan. See? Crazy. That's so cool. Florida. Hi, guys. Kalamazoo. Where is Kalamazoo? Scotland. Hi. Hi, guys. BC. Iowa. California. That's so cool. I love all your work and brushes. I'm about to have my first in a few weeks. Oh, we are naming her Emma. Oh, that's so cute. I mean, it's a good name, so congratulations. New Zealand. Wow. Michigan. So crazy. Your kids are 12 and 14. Last time was newborn and toddler. Yeah. Traveling with a newborn and toddler is terrifying. I'm not going to do it yet. We're even like, our in-laws want us to come and visit for a bit, and I'm still like, ugh. 'Cause sleeping is still difficult. It's so hard to like figure out sleeping arrangements when you're still figuring out the whole newborn stage. So it's crazy. One day you'll look back at these snack times without feeling stressed. The second time around, I'm feeling a little less stressed, which is weird because 2 is crazy, but it's also, I feel like more of a grasp on some things, and I also know what to expect to some extent. You know what I mean? I feel like first-time moms, so for you who's becoming a first-time mom, Tiffany, it may feel like the hard times are like never gonna end and that you're just gonna, I remember thinking like during night feeds like, oh, I'm gonna die. You don't. It passes. All those really tough moments passes, and then you look back and you either forget it and it's a blur, so you have another, or you just look back and go, wow, I got through that. Honestly, it just goes by so fast. And now that with my second, all the times where he's like crying and I would have been freaking out with my first, I'm kind of like, oh, you know what? This is going to pass. It's just a phase. And then they do, and it's great. So my little advice. I got your brushes as soon as we are in our new house. I will have a dedicated art room. Ooh, fun. I love the name Emma. Thank you. I hated it for the longest time. I also didn't grow up knowing anyone named Emma until the Spice Girls came out, and then I was okay with my name. Oh, you meant your first girl. Okay, you have 2 boys. 3 and 1. Wow, it is going to be nuts, but you got this. Nice little girl. That would be awesome. And now you're just starting your paint journey. Hey, man. It comes at the most crazy time. Matt, what are you saying? Nope, not happening too. Another kid? Don't worry. It's not happening. We're done. 2 boys. We're done. Hello to you in Ecuador, Brazil. Yes, when newborns actually sleep, right? Yes. Matt says Miles is sleeping. Good. He stopped yelling at you? That's good. Finally caught alive. Yes, I'm here. Exactly. God makes us forget the first and the birth. And he's awake. Sorry, Matt. Matt's downstairs looking after Miles while I do this, so thank you. You're just about to say, what about the Spice Girls? Yeah, Spice Girls made me okay with my name. And then if anyone tried to become Baby Spice when we were playing Spice Girls, because that's what you do when you're 10, I was like, no, my name's Emma. I am Baby Spice. Fight me. I was feisty. It's fine. I did childcare at one point. I had twins and 2 other girls, all about the same age. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. How are you in Vancouver? Mother of 5. Oh my gosh. You know what? If I had a lot more money, and a bigger house. Ooh, I don't want to go through pregnancy again. It was not good the second time around. But if I had a lot more money, a bigger house, and I had help, like grandparents in the area or something, or a nanny that could just give me like 5 minutes apiece alone, I would have more, but it's just too crazy. And yeah, it's just, I can't do it. Oh, whenever I need to feel better or calm, I watch your abstract poppies. Aw, that's awesome. Okay, so now that we have said hellos, daycare is so expensive. Going to be more than our mortgage. It is. That's another reason. And we don't have our 4-year-old in daycare. He's home all the time. So it's just a lot with having to entertain a 4-year-old as well as a 2-month-old. It's a lot. So, yeah. They are expensive. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Okay, I'm going to focus. Okay, today we're talking about watercolor brushes. Different shapes of watercolor brushes because I have started experimenting with different shapes. I am very much a creature of habit, and I have always stuck with what I know and what I like, and I rarely ever tried anything new. Luckily, I get gifted a lot of supplies from companies because of my channel. They want me to review things. So I have been lucky enough to receive a bunch of brushes from Princeton, which is like the company that I used to love, my Princeton snap brushes. And then I created my own with Craftimo, which was great. But I have tended to stay away from trying different shapes of brushes just because I always, like to stick with what I know. But also on my channel, I try to stick with the same supplies. So if I have people who are regularly tuning in and following along, they don't feel like they have to go out and buy new supplies all the time. So that was kind of my mindset when picking supplies to work with. However, I have recently started using my Craftimo brush, which we created, which is this one. It was originally named the Mop Brush. When designing it, I wanted more of like a mop brush like this. And then we kind of came out with this. That's why the second round of these, they're renamed on the actual brush, the oval wash brush. And originally I just wanted it for back washes, for doing large washes, for backgrounds and stuff like that. So that's what I would use it for. But recently I have started using it as like a filbert brush. So if you guys watch my video on the loose poppies that I did this past week, I mentioned that, I think I did it with this brush, if I remember correctly. Brain fart. It's gone. Okay, anyway, sorry. Oh my God, that happens too often. I mentioned that Jenna Rainey started using filbert brushes, which is this general shape. I actually don't have another filbert brush except for this one, and I don't even know if it's so misshapen. It's a Hemi. It came with my Hemi gouache set. It's not a great brush, but that's the most similar one I have to a filbert brush. None of my Princeton ones are that shape, so I've been using it like this, and I started creating flowers with this after being inspired by Jenna Rainey. And I was like, why am I not playing around with my other brushes more? I have a variety of different shapes and stuff like that, and I tend to stay away from them. One, because, like I said, all those other things, but I've been trying to use my Craftimo brushes for my videos, obviously, because we're selling them. So a little surprise announcement kind of, we're in the works. I'm in the works with Craftimo to create more brushes. So today we're going to kind of play around with a bunch of my other Princeton brushes and shapes. A lot of these I haven't really played around with. So what I want from you guys is to kind of let me know your favorite brush shapes, things that you've used in the past, how you use them, because I've only ever really used round brushes, and they're still like my favorite. I love them. Our size 12 round brush from Craftimo is my absolute favorite, but I've been really enjoying our oval wash brush, which it's like a filbert brush. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm going to show you some of the other brushes I have. And then we're just going to play. I'm just going to paint around and play and create some lines and stuff like that. Some brushes that I don't have a dagger brush, which I've never used before, and I've seen a lot of, not a lot, but some other watercolor artists use them, and I'm kind of intrigued by them, so we might be creating one of those because I'd like to try that out. So if you've used one, let us know. And yeah, so let's go through it. So I did do a video on my Princeton brushes before, but we're just going to go through them again. So this is a Mottler brush. I've never heard of that, but to me it looks just like a big wash brush. And my way of thinking of using it would be to do like large washes and stuff, right? But we're gonna play around with this one and see if we can do something else with it. So I have that one. I have, this is called an oval wash brush, which I thought was a cat tongue brush. So I don't know. I've tried to find like specific names of brushes, because I find some companies, like they're different between companies. Like my understanding was this was an oval wash, but this is labeled oval wash, and I thought this was cat tongue, but I don't know. So let me know if you know. But yeah, so it's thicker, and then it has this point, but it's also flat. So we're going to play with this and see what we can do. I have a bunch of little ones from the Craftimo bamboo set, which I haven't really used. I tend not to do too much detail, which is this tiny, but maybe we'll play around with this. I have an angular brush, which this set I tend to use for more of like if I was doing acrylic or something like that, but I haven't really played a lot with an angular brush either. So we have that one. I have the Mop Brush, which I've only ever used for back washes and stuff like that. Then I have these wash brushes. These are both from Princeton, different series. This is the Neptune, this is the Velvet Touch, but this one's called a wash, and this one is called a square wash. I think maybe they're the same size. They're both 3/4 inch, but this one is a bit more square. This one might be a little bit, no, it's not longer. This one's just a little bit fatter, but I would use this for a background wash, but I don't know, maybe we can find something else to do with it. In Germany, these brushes are actually called cat's tongue. Yeah, that's what I thought they were called too, but I don't know. And then, yeah, I have another smaller cat's tongue, and I have a round brush by Princeton. Same as, I think these are the Neptune, right? So the difference between these ones are the hairs. They're a lot softer and they hold a lot more water. They're kind of supposed to mimic like a squirrel hair. They're synthetic though. So we'll play around with those. And then I have my Craftimo ones, which you guys see me use all the time. Then there's this other Velvet Touch one. This is a long round, and the difference between this one and like a regular round, this is a size 8 and this is a size 6. But look at the difference of the size of bristles, right? This one's a lot longer. And personally, I have tried to use this one before. I'm not a fan of the longer ones. I like a short bristle. That's why when we made the Craftimo ones, even like our size 12, they're shorter. They're stubbier, which I really prefer. I like that. So that's why we created them like this. And then lastly, I have this liner brush, which I have never used. But I'm guessing thin lines and stuff like that. Someone said for like lettering and stuff, so we might try that as well. So those are some of the brushes. I do have like a ton of other brushes, but a lot of them are just rounds. Other really good brush companies are the Wonder Forest brushes. These are really, really nice. Love them. They're beautiful. Princeton Snap was always my favorite. Very affordable, depending on where you are. In the States, they're really affordable. And in Canada, they were like some of the most affordable brushes. This is what I started out with, and I love them. Craftimo Bamboo Set. I really like. That's what got me started with them. I have some of the etcher brushes. These were the gouache brushes. Not the biggest fan, but they're okay. And yeah, I think that's about it. Nothing too crazy. And then I also have these too. I have a brush problem. I did not buy them all. I was gifted the majority of them. Let me just see what you guys were saying before I flip the camera around. Let's help Emma out. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, Lori. You're so sweet. Hello to you in Spain, BC, Ohio. Question: have you any insight on the daggers? Playing with it, but any direction would be nice. I've never played with a dagger brush before, so that is one of my goals, is to get one made and then play with it. Yeah. The way Penny wrote question in all caps, we did this the last time for the live. If you guys have a question, write question in all caps first. It's just easier for me to see that you guys actually have a question, then my eyes will just go to that and I can answer. I have your brushes. I love them. Thank you. That brush holder, that square one, is actually like a Tombow marker holder that I use for my brushes. Okay, so I'm going to flip you guys around. And we're just going to play with lines and shapes and stuff. Once I get this ready. Hold on. All right. Are you using marker stand for your brushes? Yes, I am. I don't tend to use my markers very often, so I just started using my, I started using my marker stand for my brushes. All right. Okay. So many brushes. Oh, so many brushes. Okay, I'm going to flip you around. All right. Here's my pile of brushes. And I was thinking we can just like make marks with them first, and then maybe I'll see which ones I like, and then we can just do like a quick like floral painting or something with them. Okay. Question: where did you get that holder? I think it was Amazon. Like a long time ago. Yeah. It's just a marker holder. I think it's like the Tombow one. It's very messy, but gets the job done. Okay, so let's start with these cat tongue or oval wash brushes and just play around and just see what kind of marks they make, right? I have played with this a bit and I do like them, but like I said before, when I do tutorials and stuff, I try not to use too many different products, just because I want people to be able to follow with what they have. But if this becomes a favorite of people's, then maybe we will use more of it. So the good thing about these brushes is that they have a really nice tip, so you can do nice thin lines, right? But it's also great because of how big it is, it will hold more water and paint, so you can make those lines last, right? Like you won't run out of paint so quickly as you would with a really tiny detail brush, right? You wouldn't tend to do these tiny little lines that go on forever because it doesn't hold as much water and paint. It's going to run out faster. So I'll just show you. Okay, I'm trying to take as much water and as much paint as I can on this brush. And it's going to dry up a lot faster, right? So that's kind of like a plus to having a bigger brush with a really nice tip. You get these really fine lines, but because it holds more water and paint, they go on longer. Okay, now let's use it flat this way. I don't have enough water in there. You get nice thick lines. This reminds me of like a leaf. You can do like perfect leaf shapes almost with these, which is nice. Let's use a darker green so we can see it better. And I actually like these for leaves because it kind of gives like a rigid kind of edge. Sorry if I'm not making sense or I'm stumbling over my words. I'm a little tired. A rigid kind of edge to it. So you could make them look not so perfect. See how it's kind of rigid at the edge? I like that look. Now, one thing we forget to do is we forget to turn it on its side. So turn it on its side like this and you get a whole different shape. Okay, you can get more of that round brush shape. Make them smaller, make them bigger. Like that. Let me know if you use it any other way. The squirrel, a whole lot more water, but are very soft. Yes. Squirrel hair or like real hair, not synthetic brushes, are a lot softer and they do hold a lot more water. So that's the cat tongues brush or the oval wash brush. Let's try a flat wash or a wash brush. So like I said before, I tend to only use this for washes, right? So like doing a background. But let's see what else we can do with this. So I will typically use it like this, right? Going back and forth, doing even washes. Let's add more paint on here, but what if we turn it on its side? You can get some, just play around with it a bit. I also like to use these flat brushes for like if I'm doing buildings or something. Squares, like perfect squares. Gives her a thump. But you can get kind of like this long rounded leaf too, which is kind of cool. Question, what brushes are good for beginners? For beginners, use whatever you can find. I started off with dollar store brushes, to be honest. Like if you don't want to break the bank, if this is something that you don't know if you really like yet, use whatever you have or whatever you can get your hands on. Also depends on where you are. I always say for shape, start with a round brush. So something like this. This is our Craftimo brush collaboration. But they come in different like brands and stuff like that. There's tons of different round brushes. And I tend to go with a size 12, size 6, and size 2 in whatever brand you can find that's affordable. If you're in the States, Princeton Snap were like my go-to because they were the most inexpensive, but I really love these brushes. So that's my 2 cents. And her Craftimo brushes, yes. I definitely suggest these because I love them. Let's try my oval wash brush because I love this one. And if you watch my Poppy video, you'll know that I just started using this for flowers. And I just really like how you can kind of get these rounded shapes. The only thing is it has this abrupt end to it. So you really, what you have to do, which I'm learning to do, is you have to get that kind of petal shape, you put it down and then you have to slowly turn it to get more of like a petal shape. This, I've been finding that using this brush has been a bit of a learning curve. And then turning it. But you can also use it like this. Kind of like the same as the other wash brush. And you get these really thin lines because of the tip. If you look at how thin that is, it almost mimics a round brush on its side. So you can get some really nice thin lines like that. And then your leaves can just kind of be different shapes. Like, look at that. It's kind of cool, right? Like, look at that shape. That's pretty cool. But it's definitely a learning curve. I've been struggling kind of using it because I'm just not used to it, but you can do some really cool stuff with this. I'm going to do more tutorials with this, I think. Okay, so this is our oval wash brush from the Craft-A-Mo, or also known as a filbert brush. I'd like to create some smaller ones of these. Let's try this liner brush because I actually haven't used a liner brush. So the difference between a liner brush and like a smaller detail brush like this. So obviously this one's a lot smaller, but you do these for like smaller details. Again, this is the same kind of idea as using it for small lines because there's more brush, it's longer, it will hold more water and more paint than one of these would. So this would be for a lot smaller detail in a smaller area. This would be for longer lines like this. But let's test it out and see how it looks. Because I actually don't think I've really used this. I want more water to make sure that it actually flows. Not bad. I'm going to try and do some calligraphy with this because I saw someone using it for calligraphy and I just can't, because it's such a long bristle, I feel like it's not going to be ideal for calligraphy, only because when I think of using a brush pen, the longer the tip is, the harder it is to control. So I can only imagine that this is harder to control, but let's try it. Let me move this over. Move. Okay. All right. Heavier pressure coming down. I mean, you get these nice thin lines, but it is harder to control. And if you're a beginner, I would not use one of these for calligraphy. Yeah, not ideal. Can we make anything bigger? Yeah, I don't really like liner brushes. I don't know, maybe I've seen people use them with gouache to get good lines, but because they're just so thin, I just feel like you have to dip your paint or your brush back in a lot longer. Like I'll show you if I'm doing calligraphy, I tend to use my size 2. I'll show you. It's a little bit bigger. And because our Craft-A-Mo brushes are shorter, I find they're a lot easier to control. And they're stiffer. That's not good. I should be going thinner on the way up, but I didn't. I do have a couple videos on watercolor calligraphy with brushes. It's not my strong point, but I do have a couple of videos if you're interested. Yeah, my size 2 I feel is just more comfortable and easier to use. There. Okay. And then, did I use this one yet? No, right? I feel like this is going to be very similar to our flat or, yeah, square wash. Let's try it though. It's going to hold lots of water. So I would use this, or tend to use this, if I was doing like a bigger painting. But let's try on its side. I mean, you get kind of like the same deal as the flat wash, just for bigger projects. Blech. I just dropped water. It's fine. Yeah, for like background washes, that's what I'd use it for. Ah! Oh, I have too much water. I just spilled it everywhere. I'm a mess today. Where is my paper towel? Here it is. I'm an absolute disaster today. Every day, let's be honest. Spilled it all over. So yeah, and then lastly, an angled brush, which again, I don't tend to use too much in watercolor. I would use it more in, what's it called? Like acrylic. I think this is what I used. I don't know. Do I have any? Hold on. I'm just going to do it over here. I was just playing around with colors for here. So, an angled brush. You can get those nice kind of sharp lines. It also has a nice point. You can also do backwashes. Wonder, because it's similar to a dagger brush. Similar. It's not as long. But I wonder, you could do some sort of leaf. Nope. The curves and stuff. I don't know. It's interesting though. What do you guys think? I'm just gonna dry this so I can close it. Question: what is some of your favorite watercolor brushes or supplies from Amazon? My favorite brushes are ours from Craftimo, but from Amazon, I don't know. I haven't really bought brushes off Amazon. But favorite supplies, I don't know. I buy a lot of my Princeton, what's it called? Not Princeton. Winsor Newton paints from Amazon because I don't have an art store near me. Amazon has a 4-pack of Princeton Snap for a great price. That's good. But if you can, dickblick.com, it's a website in the States. I think they also have stores. I've never been. They have a lot of affordable brushes. They also have the Princeton Snap brushes for cheap. Use a liner brush for branches. It's a good idea. See, the thing is I feel like you don't need all these brushes. Like, you don't need a liner brush, right? Because you could just use, like, I would even use my size 12 for really thin lines. So you don't need all these. But ones that I'm interested in trying out more is our oval wash or filbert. And then maybe some more wash brushes like these. And maybe the cat's tongue is what I consider trying next after using my typical round brushes, if that makes sense. Are you still doing the monthly bouquet? I need to do that. I need to do June's. I'm so behind. I will get on that. I will do June's bouquet before the end of the month. I promise. I think that's the only one I'm missing, right? It's been a crazy, crazy month. Okay, I'm going to play around with some of these brushes. And I'm just going to paint some flowers while we chat. But yeah, it's been a crazy month. I'm going to have a sip of my vino. You're not a disaster. You're awesome. Thank you. I feel like a disaster. How's baby doing? He's doing so much better. If you weren't here for my last live, we were in the hospital for a day or two. He wasn't eating much. He was vomiting. He had all this stuff, but he's doing so much better. But now my older one has a really bad cough. So it's been crazy, and trying to find time to work has been nuts. So will you paint something quick with this brush? Yes. Yes, I will. I will. Okay, let's just paint a bright bouquet, which I've been doing lately, which is fun. I'm going to use my oval wash and mix it with pink. And I'm just gonna try and do these fluffy petals. Take off some of that pigment, is what I'm trying to say. Put it on its side, turn it around. Let's do that. Can you show more peonies in a different bloom stage and angles, please? I can do that probably for a future video. Yeah. Let's try, like, we could do, oh my God, my brain. Bud is what I'm trying to say. Bud. So just doing like these little rounded kind of shapes. I'll wash off my brush. I'm gonna grab some green. Keep forgetting to add more of my green in there to my palette. I'm starting to run low. Still had a bunch of pink in my brush. That's okay. Let's do a little bit of yellow in there. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of playing around. I still don't feel as confident with this brush yet. It's funny. Like, it's just such a different feel, so I don't know what I'm doing. Try and do some little buds here. That. Let's use the cat tongue brush, see what we can do. I'm going to use this one. And my favorite green lately has been my olive green. Ooh, that's okay. I'm gonna do a stem. Yeah, this is fun for leaves. Like, look at that shape. That's so cool. It's interesting. It's like super easy to do leaves with this shape of brush. If you want more of those like pointed kind of feel from it. I don't know, this is kind of all over the place. This isn't a good composition or anything. I love your color selection. Thank you. I've been really into like these bright colors lately, which is so not me because I tend to go towards more muted colors. But I've been totally feeling these bright colors lately. That's fine. Let's try and use this wash brush just for fun. Let's see what we can do. Let's get some purple in there. Why not? Let's do some leaves. I don't know if I could do like a flower with this. You kind of can. It just has a sharper edge, right? Yeah, I don't think I'd use this for a flower. But that's why we're playing around, to figure it out, right? Yeah, that feels weird to me. Nope. Yeah, because you get this sharp edge. Weird. And then you can use... Let's play. What color is the orangey flower called? I used Winsor red and permanent rose together to make that color. Yeah, not feeling this flat wash for anything. One thing I do use a flat wash for, like if I'm doing buildings, or like a backwash, like I said. Interesting. Question. For Winsor blue, which one would you pick? So yeah, there's two Winsor blues. There's a green Winsor blue, which is a cooler blue, closer to turquoise, and then there's the red Winsor blue, which is a warmer blue. I only had the green one, but I would almost prefer the warmer one, just because I don't have a lot of warm blues except for ultramarine, which is very granulated and it doesn't mix well. So I'd even maybe, I have a chart here. Hold on. That's ultramarine. Where is the other one? Winsor blue. What are you? Yeah, it's darker and warmer. Yeah, I'd try that one. Let's use this liner brush for some detail for fun. I mean, it is kind of easier to use something that is this small. But I still don't think I'd use it too much. I did not think about composition with this, so just keep that in mind. I just kind of was playing around. Yeah, not a huge fan of the liner brush either. I mean, it's okay, but meh. See, for like centers like that, I would use my size 6 or even my size 12. Oops. Because you can still get those really small... Oh, why is my brush not wet enough? Small shapes. Small lines is what I'm trying to say. With a big brush like this with a good tip, you know? Yeah, I don't know how I feel. So I think for leaves, the best one is the cat tongue and these, the round brushes, but I'll just show you again with the filbert oval wash kind of brush, the kind that you can make. So you get more rounded leaves, which I kind of like. They're interesting to look at. I don't know where this is going, but it's all good. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of basically it. And that's just kind of playing with these different shapes. What is an ultimate must-have for beginner? Are you talking just general, like, paint? Here, I'm going to flip you guys around so you can see my face. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. Sorry, I'm like also reading, but also trying to speak. For beginners, I used to say I would buy like 5 tube watercolors and put them in a palette like this. That was like always my go-to for beginners. But since then, I have used different like pan palettes. And there are some really good, like decent ones that are reasonably priced. So like this one, like the Mei Liang, or it's also known as like excellent watercolors. Like this is a 48 set. and it's actually pretty decent quality, and it's reasonably priced, especially in the States. So a pan palette like this couldn't hurt. Just do your research before you get them, because I have tried out some other pan palettes and they are not good. This is a good one though. Paul Rubens is good. Munio is good. They're lower quality, not the Paul Rubens ones, but they're good for beginners. But yeah, and then brushes, I like the Princeton Snap. And then paper is hard. Oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet. Aw. Someone is saving up to buy my brushes, and a bunch of people are jumping in to help. That's so cute. You guys are so sweet. I love this community. You guys are awesome. What brand was the cat tongue brush? That's a Princeton. This is a Princeton Aqua Elite. And then there's also a Princeton Neptune. You guys are awesome. But yeah, what time is it? Ooh, I gotta get going. But yeah, so I hope that answered some questions about brushes. I'm sorry if I'm not making sense. I don't hate lives, but sometimes I'm just like, I get distracted very easily if you can't tell. So I'm just all over the place. But yeah, am I glitching? I might be glitching. I don't know. But yeah, so, oh my gosh, you guys are so nice. You guys are awesome. Anyway, yeah, I gotta get going because I do have to get to bed soon, even though it's only 9. But when you have children that wake up multiple times in the middle of the night and then at 6 a.m., you gotta do what you gotta do. So thank you guys so much for joining me. If you guys have any more comments you'd like to add, if you have any more comments you'd like to add, means it's my bedtime. Then just let me know in the comments below, and I will try my best to get back to you guys. Let us know what are your favorite type of brushes and what you use them for. And that's about it. So thank you guys again so much for hanging out with me. You guys are amazing.